Buongiorno. Ooh. All right. Oh, I gotta put my jewelry on. Showered. I feel fresh. And it is time to enjoy. Today's my last full day in Madrid. And then tomorrow I will be flying away again at about 4:30 in the afternoon. So, where do you think I'm heading? But beyond that, let's go enjoy today. So remember those really cool looking birds I was talking about? Those are parakeets. Eric's like, they're called urracas, and they're really a big pain in the ass, kind of like crows. They're very territorial. See, those are parakeets. Anyway, we're going, I don't know where we're going. Where are we going? I know we're going to the train station, but where are we going? We're exploring, which is fun. And it's overcast and a little chilly. I got a little bit of congestion, but other than that, it's that transitional time of year where a lot of people get sick. It's called a cold because you're going from the heat to the cold, and sometimes it's extreme. And depends on if you're getting enough rest, eating well, which I admit I had a little too much sugar. And yeah, treat your body as a temple. It's sacred. Whew. But it's nice and pleasant. So, I mean, I'm a little chilly, but I got my scarf in my bag. I always carry my layers. Aha! I love it. We're going to the pyramids. Going to... Then we go back up. Our train is coming. Look at all the graffiti. And it's kind of cold, so you start to see people putting on puffy jackets and scarves to stay warm. That's probably our train. Doo-wee-doo-wee-doo. And the construction in the background. Someone's got a really nice sagey smell. I've been smelling sage a lot around me. It's interesting. Like the cleansing. Eucalyptus smell too. We're here at 𝐕𝐤𝐳𝐝. See those yellow vests? They caught me. I had to put my mask on. How crazy is that shit? And then they took them off as soon as they get off the train. How funny. The world we live in. Control this part. This is so fun. Oops, wrong side. You gotta go to the arrows. Over here. Okay. Watch. I'm like a little kid. There's an obelisk. 𝐒𝐚𝐬𝐬𝐲. It's a phallic symbol, just that's all.
You would think that the river would be
Finding a river downhill, which is that way. So it's just basically a marker. You know how they mark territory and places. So we're going toward the river, which is downhill behind us. Okay. And then over in that direction is the pyramid that the Egyptians donated, right?
count the walks. We've just gone down.
What's the other direction?
That's another section.
Okay. So we're walking down the street, and I was just admiring, like I said, these buildings. This is like a special architectural design of the Spaniards, and I absolutely adore and love it because it's like, I'm gonna go sit on my terrace and receive the sun, but be protected from the elements. And that's just so awesome. It's like, it's such an honoring. Like, it's also part of the morning ritual. Like, you have your coffee or your tea and your croissant, your breakfast, whatever it is you have, and you just start your day. Like, meditation doesn't have to be sitting on your mat. It could just be those ritualistic moments of just peace and tranquility to start your day. Assuming you have that, which you should always make time for that. And then these sycamore trees. Oh. Wow. You know, aren't these birch trees? I've never seen people like mark them like that before. We have to cross the street, so we're going. But those are my favorite flowers for my birthday. They're so fragrant. So there's two more funky looking obelisks. We're crossing the street because we're going toward the water. I'd never seen graffiti on a tree like that, like to that degree. And there's two of them next to each other. When I was growing up, we had a birch, an oak. I swore we had 2 trees. Maybe it was 3. I thought it was 3. But anyway, it goes to Toledo. This is the Puente. Oh, come over.
Stop recording. So basically, this is.
We are here.
Yeah,
Puente de
we're here,
Toledo.
but you see like all the different paths and everything else. All this crap is. We got off in 𝐕𝐢𝐳𝐲. So
Super cool.
it's again, it's just something to do. Something
Yeah.
different.
Totally.
And I want to check it off my list.
I love it.
But
Really beautiful. Look at how old those fountains are, huh? Oh, wow. Yeah, you wait till we get over there. Careful. Look at this bridge. Wow, so pretty. And it's a seasonal change, so it's like New York City. It reminds me of like going down to Central Park, right? And you overlook the park underneath, and then we're gonna cross over the river.
so this is where we're gonna walk around.
Look at this texture. Wow.
What I want to show you.
Is this like limestone? Because it's gritty looking, you know? Or it's been hammered by the elements.
It's probably been here for 250 years.
I'm gonna walk over there. 250 years, maybe longer. Never know. All the beautiful trees. Oh, it's so pretty. And that has kind of an oriental look to it, huh? I'm glad I'm wearing these sneakers today. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Not too windy, gratefully, because yesterday was super windy. And it just always feels windier when you're in a city between the buildings. Because in between the buildings, imagine the wind has to go somewhere, and it has resistance, so it has buildings, like New York City if you've ever been there. So this is one side with the maiden and the headless little baby, and then this side with the man and the baby up on. Interesting. Wonder what it symbolizes. Wonder what the meanings and the stories are behind it. I'll have to look it up. I mean, you can find anything online these days. I am a book lover. I really wish I had more books sometimes. But then, practicing non-attachment, because at the point I'm at in my life right now, I'm ready to just let it all go and start all over. That's what the hurricane kind of reminded me in Florida. I don't know how many of you were considering that. Some of you from Florida, and people who were concerned for those of us who have homes or live in Florida. If you lost everything, could you just let it go? Or are you attached to your stuff? See, I'm a Leo, so my whole thing is my home, my den. And I've expressed that all of my stuff is with my ex, who is not communicating with me. And I didn't even think about it. Like, it was not even a thought in my mind that he would withhold giving back my stuff. Because in a way, he was helping me by taking it out of my ex's storage in Italy, down in Naples. Now he's in northern Italy. The idea that he would just act like it was his own and not want to give it back never even crossed my mind until this year. And I've had to really sit with that shit. Like, what if I never see it again? What if I have to let it go? And yeah, it sucks. But you know what? I've gone this long without it. I'm not saying I'm happy with what I have, but that just means it's time for me to prioritize and work on something better, something more. And often what we don't realize in the moments where we feel we're losing something is that when one door closes, an even bigger door opens. Quando si chiude una porta, si apre una poltrona. So when one small door closes, a bigger one opens, which means you had all that stuff. Now you can create something based on that even better. Because often we don't, out of sight, out of mind. If you weren't using it, why would you even think you needed it? Why do we hoard? Why do we hold on to? Why are we so attached and so possessive? Because that's another thing too. I'm calling it my stuff. And he's also possessing it in a way like it's his. So it becomes combative if you think about it. Like, you've got my stuff. I want my stuff. It's all this possession, territorial, like everything in the world. War is all about territorial. I was joking this morning with Eric about how boys whipping their dicks out and saying, mine's bigger than yours and I'm stronger than you, and, trying to mark their territory and assume control over, or the alpha dominance in a very toxic way. It's like, when it really comes down to it, nothing belongs to any of us. Why do we feel we have to become so competitive and consuming and owning? What is it that makes it that way? What is that fear that manipulates and motivates you? Because that's all that is you thinking you're going to lose something by letting it go. That holding on is the fear of not being enough, having enough, or you've got something to prove. And part of that is, and I own that because I don't let that own me. And don't let your stuff define you. Don't let your stuff own you, because that can be the one thing that's holding you back from the richest life you could ever lead. And I'm saying this for you, I'm saying it for myself especially. 80% of what you say is meant for you to hear. I do my best work when I talk it out. I hear my words and I'm like, shit, that's my shit. I'm sharing my shit because I love my shit. I own my shit. I don't let it own me. I recognize that it's there to serve me, not to hold me back or to limit me. We have these experiences so that we can grow. We can evolve. We can be better than we were yesterday in the mimosa. We humans, we need to do better. Because when you know better, you can do better. And so we're constantly evolving, learning how to better communicate with one another. Even with my friend, I love him so much. I'm sharing stuff with him from my personal experience because I care. Because I watch other people suffer, but only if the person is willing to listen. Only if a person is willing to listen. If they really, really want more, they will heed your advice. They will listen to your words. But you gotta feel into your body. If someone is telling a story, if you're telling a story, where do you feel it? I guarantee you, if it's not from your heart, it's in your throat. It's typically up in the upper, like choked up, right? That beautiful building off to the distance. When you feel choked up, it's because you're more up in your head. You're thinking it out. Most emotion is not physically based. It manifests. It manifests in the body because it's a misalignment with the mind. Emotion, energy in motion, begins with the frequency of your thoughts. It all begins with a thought. It all begins with a thought. The energy you emit from your mind translates and manifests into matter, form. That's why we say words matter, thoughts matter. Your energy matters because you're a master manifester. What you think, you create. What you anticipate, you create. The universe doesn't hear the negating words that you utilize. It only hears and feels and senses and responds. It shows up to you where you're at. If you're saying your story is that this always happens to you, well, of course, that's true. because you're creating that too. Every time you tell a story, you're recreating it, you're reliving it in that moment. Every time you're triggered, you're experiencing every trigger in that moment. Acknowledge that. Don't deny that in yourself. Because when you recognize that, that's your opportunity for growth. Every moment is an opportunity for growth, for acknowledgement, awareness, to be mindful in the moment, in the now, to be present to the gift of here and now. To yourself, you are a gift, and to others too. So that's me sharing my shit with you. So yeah, my life review right now has been hurricanes can wipe everything out, but what remains is you. And the question is, what are you going to do? Are you going to cry over the spilled milk, over the loss of material things? Or are you going to recognize the most important and most valuable experiences you have in your life? That's what I've learned. Not just from the hurricane. The hurricane is just a reminder that it's time for me to let go of stuff that no longer has hold over me. Because that's my energy too. So I've been feeding for years stuff that I haven't had physically, but I've held on to emotionally, mentally, and energetically. And yes, I've also been feeding people and giving them my energy. Willingly and unwillingly, knowingly and unknowingly. And so therefore I call that all back. I reclaim myself and my power to choose where I focus my attention and what I choose to grow. And that's what's the most important part of this next leg of my life and what is evolving next. So yeah, I hope this serves you, and I hope you're evolving and growing and appreciating your life more. And I hope this resonates, and if it does, let me know in the comments what stood out the most for you. Look at this. I'm gonna find a cappuccino place, but I'm just sharing these really cool statues with the angels on the top and well, they get crosses on top of it. They're holding staffs, both of them. The entry to this bridge, which Eric was saying they used to drive across a long time ago. But this is the beautification, and it's so nice what they're doing because it's allowing people to have more beauty, you know. And this really what we need to be doing is getting back to movement. Movement is medicine. We're not meant to be docile creatures in little cars and living in boxes, honestly. We're supposed to be in nature. It's the whole purpose of being alive. Yeah. Very, very cool. Hello, little cherub. You know what time it is. Cappuccino with sucro di canna and my gluten-free yummy cupcakes, and these are really good because they're sugar-free too. This is banana with what they make a kind of like a plant-based mascarpone, and this other one is a vanilla cupcake. Yummy, yummy in my tummy. I forgot these yesterday. All right, we're going back because it's starting to rain. So down the metro line we go. This is a cool metro. A little bit different looking. We gotta top up his card. In the metro. Train's coming. Can you hear it? It's a long down here day. I'm freezing. It's chilly. Yeah, it started to rain, so we decided we could. Not our train. Yeah, that's our train. Gran Via, here we are. We're going to switch lines to 𝐒𝐚𝐬. Actually, I think we're going to where the Bell Vicados. Yeah, here we go. comes our train. Da 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 da. Just waiting for them to disembark, to embark. Thanks. I love these things. Moving quickly. I'm like a little kid. I love those things. Coming out, and their rain is dripping, dropping. Look at those buildings. And the parakeets overhead. I think I want to matcha. Ooh, wow, this is one hell of a field tour. What do you think? Sexy. Returning to our regularly scheduled broadcast, it is raining outside. My hair got completely wet, so I just figured I'd brush it all out. And no, I don't like cutting my hair short because this is manageable for me. Some people have said, oh, don't ever cut your hair. I'm like, I've done it a handful of times and found, yeah, that's why I don't cut my hair short, because it takes more effort when it's short than when it's long, when I can toss it up on top of my head. Plus your hair is an antenna and you pick up the frequencies around you, and it is actually your intuitive pulse, like extension. Pick up on the frequencies around you, and if you're aware of it, you'll recognize and discern between yours and others. Yeah, like that. Returning to our regularly scheduled broadcast, it is raining outside. My hair got completely wet, so I just figured I'd brush it all out. And no, I don't like cutting my hair short because this is manageable for me. Some people have said, oh, don't ever cut your hair. I'm like, I've done it a handful of times and found, yeah, that's why I don't cut my hair short, because it takes more effort when it's short than when it's long, when I can toss it up on top of my head. Plus your hair is an antenna and you pick up the frequencies around you, and it is actually your intuitive pulse, like extension. Pick up on the frequencies around you, and if you're aware of it, you'll recognize and discern between yours and others. Yeah, like that. So this is me sitting on the floor, uploading videos and getting my bags ready for tomorrow's flight. Keeping a low profile, decided to just relax for the evening and make sure that I can go to bed early tonight and then be ready to take off tomorrow. So my flight is at 4:25 in the afternoon and arrives at my next destination at 7:05, where my girlfriend will be picking me up, and excited to see her. And yeah, on rainy days, it's almost like you don't want to go out anyway. And I have a little bit of sinus drainage going on, so I'm gargling water, salt water. Oh yeah, go back to the basics. Salt water clears and cleanses. Gargling, it's good for your immune system. And also snuffing or using a neti pot with the salt water will also clear all that garbage out. And I mean, salt water is how our ancestors would heal. They used to say, go get in the ocean, the salt water, to clear and cleanse you. You had a cut, go stick it in salt water. Like, salt is healing. Don't discount that. And you can also rinse in your mouth and it'll protect your gums. In fact, my old dentist used to say, take your toothbrush, mix salt and bicarbonate, the baking soda, and make a paste and go in between the gums, and that protects your teeth, and also it's good for the gums. I need to go to my dentist when I get back anyway. That'll be my next, when I get home, making appointments for the dentist, a massage, etc., etc., etc. Anyway, fun times. One checked bag, one carry-on, and clothes that I'll be wearing. I still gotta fill this up. Keeping it simple as much as possible. I still haven't figured out Iberia. I don't know if this is going to be a carry-on plus my purse, because technically it should be both, but the website is confusing and I can't even get my frequent flyer miles stuff sorted. This is just annoying as all crap. But meanwhile, uploading a video from the other day and gargling salt water, and hopefully I'm okay with just that bag and my carry-on, and I got the check luggage. If not, worst case scenario, we just turn around and pay for another bag. Last video of the evening. I am ready for bed and I am sleepy. I've been using salt water, warm, snuffing out my nose and just clearing out my sinuses and my throat, gargling, because I just felt a little bit like I need to reinforce my immune system. So this is what happens when you're in between seasons and when you're traveling and not getting the right rest, which it's hard sometimes when I change locations between my digestion, sleep, and everything else. So I hope you're all enjoying these videos. I'm sorry, I know those last couple were really long. This one is a little bit shorter, and I hope that what I share about my personal journey on this resonates with someone out there, and that it inspires something in you. And yeah, thank you for following. Thank you for liking, sharing, following me, and subscribing to that notification bell. If there is something you want me to share, write in the comments. Let me know what resonates. Feedback. I love feedback. I appreciate you. So much love from my heart to yours. Love you. Sweet dreams.